Good morning, SBC. It is Tuesday morning, and I hope that you are ready for an awesome day of serving God right here in Hopkinsville and Christian County. Now, I am recording this a little bit early because today I will not be in the office. I will be on vacation. All of this week, I'm going to be out of the office. And so I wanted to do this ahead of schedule. Now, while I'm out of the office, we won't have our Chick-fil-A Bible study that's usually tonight, Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. That'll be skipped this week, and we'll pick it up next week as we continue our study in Revelations. I want to encourage you today, though, because I'm going to be doing some things this week that are, well, I'm going to call it a comeuppance for things that I've been putting off. You know, this week is going to be one of those weeks where I'm going to try to play catch up. And I know that as I try to play catch up on a lot of the chores that are around the house, whether it's cutting down some trees that have been dead and they need to come down, or whether it's trimming out some bushes that have been way overgrown, or whatever it is that I've been putting off this summer because I say, well, I don't have time now and I don't want to now. I'd rather go this other direction now. I know that I've made my task more difficult this week. So even as you're watching this, my guess is I'm regretting some of the choices I've made over this summer. And the reason is because I have gone a direction that I knew was going to end up worse. But at the time, I just didn't want to face what it was I was looking at. And so I procrastinated. I pushed it off. And in some cases, I just flat rebelled against it and said, no, I'm going to pretend like that doesn't exist. Now I have to fix them. Now I have to address them, and it'll be a lot harder because of it. In your life, I'm sure you've faced some of the same situations, and spiritually, this becomes extremely important because many times we will put off what we know what God has called us to do, and it causes us a great deal more pain down the road. In the book of Jonah, there is this interesting beginning and ending to the book. I know you know the book, and I know you know how he was swallowed by the great fish and all the rest of it. But have you ever noticed how the book begins and how the book ends? It starts and it finishes with Jonah angry. The scripture says there in Jonah chapter 1 that the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it because of its wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed to Tarshish. Now, Jonah immediately responds to God's call by saying, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it now, procrastination. I may not be doing it ever, full rebellion. You and I are in those kind of places. But how does the book end? Does Jonah ever actually turn around and face what it is he's created? Well, only by force. And even then, he takes no glory in it. As the book ends, it finishes with Jonah's final statement. The last thing Jonah says in this book is, I am so angry, I wish I were dead. Jonah begins the book angry and in rebellion. He finishes the book angry and in rebellion. And there are some of us who in our relationship with God have looked at God and said, I will not, I cannot, I will never. And now, years later, even though the situation is much worse, we are continuing to hold that ground and say, I will not give this over. I will not hand this over to God. Do you realize the quagmire that you're creating for yourself? Do you realize the bonds that you're placing around your own wrists? Do you realize the hurt and the anguish that you're causing in your own life simply because you won't surrender and step up to what God has asked you to do? As I shared, I'm not perfect, and I make these same mistakes. I do it both spiritually and in my own home ownership with the tending of my land. I have to face those things eventually. I have to address them eventually, and I can promise you this. When I am finished cleaning up the things that I've been putting off, I'll feel much better when I pull into the driveway of my house. You too will feel a lot better about your own soul, about your own heart, when you address some of those things that God's been speaking to you about, but you've been putting off. So today, make it a great day. It may be a hard day, but make it a great day by facing some of those challenges that you have been telling God you will not touch. At the end of the day, you'll be smiling a lot broader. I hope you have a great Tuesday and a great week, and I'll look forward to catching up with you again real soon, right here at Second Baptist Church.